Hello, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum, along with Kayleigh McEnany, Leslie Marshall, Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York, and this is The Five. Well. Shot across the bow for the Democratic establishment. Progressive Abdul El-Sayed squeaked out a narrow victory, about 14,000 votes, defeating, stick it to him, moderate Haley Stevens in the Michigan Senate primary that has exposed some deep divisions within the Democrat Party. El-Sayed extending an olive branch today. He said he spoke with Stevens. He said she's going to support him. They're going to be unified. And he shouted out the socialist OG Bernie Sanders and said he's the man who made it all possible. Watch.
I know that it was a bitter end to this very long primary, but I also know that Haley brings the best of herself to her work. She is one of the most committed public servants that you'll ever meet. She loves democracy like I love democracy. I gotta give a special thank you to my first endorsers. Bernie Sanders, the OG, who came in on day one, put his entire shoulder in the work. They think they want to use my whole name against me. Mike, listen, man, if you can't say the name, it's Abdurrahman, keep the name out your damn mouth.
But it wasn't working. It wasn't the working class voters that El-Sayed claims to represent who pushed him to victory. Politico reports that the radical candidate performed best among wealthy, highly educated white voters primarily, while moderate Democrats, Stevens picked up the black vote, Detroit, Flint, lower income areas, and less educated areas. So think about what that means for the future. And President Trump weighed in on the race, calling El-Sayed, quote, a communist loser, he said, warning it's a slippery slope for the country to start electing socialist candidates.
I think it's crazy because they're going to ruin our country. They want to, I don't know if they want to. I think either they're very naive or they actually want to ruin the country. No matter where you look, go back 1,000 years with different names, anybody doing what they're doing and what they're espousing, everything turns out to ashes and junk and filth.
All right, Kayleigh, let's start with you. You could feel him in this statement that he made today, kind of trying to pull to the middle here because he knows he's got to win over some of those voters who voted for Haley Stevens, who didn't want him in this primary.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he did a pretty savvy job at that. El-Sayed is, to me, one of the most dangerous left-wing candidates out there. Why? Because he rejects the label of socialism while operating under the veneer of socialism. You look at his policies: Medicare for all, abolish ICE, Supreme Court reform, billionaire tax, arms embargo on Israel. These are all policies of the DSA. But yet he says, I reject the DSA on one hand. But then on the other hand, he's at 6 DSA events. He headlined a fundraiser for the DSA. He has a litany of socialist policies, but he's dangerous because he rejects it in name. So voters have to study closely. But Democrats, socialism is on the march. You see this with El-Sayed. You see it in D.C. They're about to have a socialist mayor. They already have one in Seattle with Katie Wilson. We have one here in New York City with Zoran Mamdani. And you look across the party and these left-wing socialists are winning. Here's the problem they have, and you pointed to it in this introduction. There's a divide, a real divide among Democratic voters. The working class does not support the socialists. The college-educated do. There's a huge divide. Another divide, you have white liberals who support the socialists, but black voters, voters of colors in these primaries do not. Politico said it succinctly. It was a break between two unsettled factions of the Democratic Party, black voters and the left. So that's where we stand. Can you unite these two factions? Possibly. Zoran Mamdani did it, but I'm not sure that's going to work statewide in Michigan. Final takeaway, and to me, the biggest takeaway of the night, Jesse, you have one of the greatest heads of hair in television, but we lost one of the greatest heads of hair in Congress, Sri Thanadar. He's gone, and that is a tragedy.
Oh, my God.
So, Leslie...
Greg says I have fake hair. Look at that.
Leslie, how does the Democratic Party address this when you have working voters, working-class voters, who the people who say they're all about the worker won't vote for?
Well, first of all, now you're going to have him up against a Republican, a pro-Trump Republican, a Republican who is not originally from Michigan like El-Sayed is. And, you know, will some people stay home and not like him, maybe even just because he's Muslim? Really? But there are going to be people that are going to come out and they're going to vote for him because I'm hoping, as we're already seeing, that the Democrats are going to band together because to them it's for the greater good to have a Democrat in power, whether they're the more liberal, progressive faction, even a DS candidate, than to have their moderate candidate that they wanted. I'm a moderate Democrat, but I certainly want a Democrat more than I do a Republican and more than I do a pro-Trump Republican. Some people we're not talking about today that also won. Everybody thinks that, and we're talking about, and it makes the news cycle when we have the far left of the left win. But we don't talk about Adam Hamilton in Kansas, who talks about working on both sides. Katie Hobbs is going to pick a Republican as lieutenant governor. Eugene Vidman is certainly not a socialist. How about Eleanor Lunia, who is a Jewish candidate who won, who is pro-Israel and pro-AIPAC, and then Fred Wellman, who is also a moderate. Those are just a few. They all won yesterday, too. We're not talking about them. The reason is the majority of Democrats are moderates. Do we see more people, especially among the youth, not just the white college educated, but especially among the youth? Do we see these younger people saying, yes, I like what I'm hearing? And what they're hearing, the message that they're hearing, you touched upon some of it, Kayleigh. What did Syed say? I want to make healthcare, groceries, gas more affordable. I think most Americans want that. I don't want data centers in the town. Most Americans don't want that. I want to have less money, if not any money, in politics. I want to tax the rich. I want to end the war in Iran. I want to have money spent here on Americans, not in other countries, including the country his parents are from, Egypt.
And he can't be sad about the Ayatollah being gone, because that would sadden his voters.
Yeah,
Forgot that one.
He said you can't say anything about it because some people are really sad that the Ayatollah died in Dearborn.
But we saw that in Iran. We saw that. And certainly there...
And with El-Sayed's voters.
I live in Los Angeles, which is called Tehrangeles. I saw people marching for and against what we're doing.
Well, okay, because the Iranians that I know in New York would have danced on his grave because he slaughtered tens of thousands of people in the street. And for some reason, this individual has a hard time saying that it's a good thing that he's no longer on this earth. Jesse, Mike Rogers gave us a little bit of a window into where he's going to go with this. He said, I spent years hunting terrorists and bringing Osama bin Laden to justice. Never in a million years did I think I would be running against someone who believes America deserved 9/11. And that was a quote from Hassan Piker, who El-Sayed likes to hang out with quite a bit. He was with him right before the election.
Yeah, but you got to respect Abdul because he beat the machine. Big Gretch, Pelosi, Schumer, he slaughtered them. Jewish super PAC, 30 mil, couldn't do it. And so say what you want about him. This guy is a force that Mike Rogers is going to have to deal with. Mike Rogers was born and raised in Michigan, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but that's a fact. Now the Democrat establishment has lost total control. From Michigan to Maine to New York, the base is now calling the shots. And it was a very simple message. And you are right. All I hear from this guy, Medicare for all, end the war, abolish ICE, get money out of politics, especially Jewish money. And he was very crafty distancing himself from the crazy communists. Did it just enough to be able to pull it off. And he's always doing hits constantly on my feed, on TV. So that's something you're going to have to deal with. He's still lost half Democrat primary voters, right? And he's got ethnic problems. He's got class issues. And he's a Muslim in Michigan, and that will be a factor. This is a 75% white state. It's a Big Ten state. He's got to connect there. If he can't connect, he's toast. The Rogers guy isn't 100% MAGA. You know, he's Army, former FBI special agent, member of Congress. I think he matches up great against Abdul. So there's a great chance Republicans pick up this seat and pick up the Maine seat. And if that happens, it's not going to be John Fetterman's head on a stake. It's going to be Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he said he basically wanted Fetterman's head on a pike. He said, ideally, you put one ogre on a pike and then everyone else gets the message. And all of a sudden, it starts to sound a lot different out there.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.